So we're ready to move on in a bunch of different directions, most of them going towards Defiance Bay and new zones and so on, but the one thing I probably haven't followed up on yet is this. Anslög's compass. Kaliska's sister. And you know, we owe Kaliska. I'm going to travel south to Anslög's compass, where I can find Ranga. Where is this location? Again. Just says south to Anslög's compass, that's all it says. I don't remember if I found it on the map yet.
Gather your party before venturing forth.
You must gather your party, motherfucker. None of these areas are Anslög's compass. Am I misremembering? I thought that she kind of indicated that there was like a location to go to that we knew better. Like south of some place that I've heard of. But I've definitely left south from Gilded Vale. It must be even further south? Well, most of my stuff involves going to Defiance Bay then. Yeah, I've totally been to Magron's Fork. I believe that's where I meant Durance. There is a path there, though. Let's double check. Let's just double check. If I'm worried about wasting the 16 hours when if it turns out I'm wrong, I could just load my save real quick and just go to Cadnua instead. It's not really a big deal. And sitting here in indecision trying to remember a conversation from hours ago is probably not worth the time investment. Haul ass down here, y'all. Let's see what let's see what I see if I click on this compass. Anslög's compass. There we go. All right. So it is. I deduced correctly. It is just to the south. That path does lead somewhere. Okay. Yeah, more useful journal directions would be helpful in situations like that. It just says south, and I'm like, the whole game is south because Gilded Vale is in the north part of the map. So, because I think she probably said like it's south of the Fork of Magron or whatever, but that was the dialogue specifically, not the quest log. All right, we have 3 grand. It might be reasonable to continue with my upgrades. Ooh, bad visitor leaving in 5 days, 25 hours. A wanted criminal by the name of Nairi the Deft Hand has arrived at the Stronghold seeking aid in fleeing the Deerwood. Huh. That's different. My first visitor. I have 5 days. I'll deal with this zone first. I might go from here to the mother to tell her that the progress on the quest, and then to Cadnua to potentially start looking into the whole underground part and investigate that part of the game, because I'm curious about that. So maybe then I'll visit Nairi. I mean, I have to go through there anyway if I want to go to Defiance Bay, because the bridge is all bunked up at the moment. This gives me 2 renown. I get a perception bonus when I rest in Bright Hollow if I have towers. Western Barbican's required for these wall upgrades. Ooh. Resting at Bright Hollow gives you a lore bonus when you have the library. It also just gives me access to books that could be nice. The barracks lets me defend the place, giving me an increased security ranking. Increasing my security ranking faster than my valor ranking could potentially make sense here. The dungeons does neither. It lets me take prisoners. Ooh. Ooh. Upgrading the dungeons will allow you to take prisoners during your travels. That's very interesting, actually. Let's do that. It's a little expensive, but I think I should get that done sooner than later. Because that means that I'll have the option, presumably during like story missions and stuff like that, where I can like choose to capture somebody instead of killing them or setting them free. And then I can figure out what to do with them, potentially. Because they've been naughty boys. Sound. The music really is overpowering a lot of the time, isn't it? But I also don't want to set to 0. I don't know. It's nice to have music, but it's just so loud. No matter how quiet you set it, it's still loud compared to all the dialogue. I want it to be quieter, but also more ever-present, because it just goes away, and then the game's just so quiet a lot of the time. So I want more music, but I want to chill out so I can hear the dialogue. Bit of a mixed bag there. Tilly and Eggdrang. So specifically the quest was, all mothers who give birth to hollow-born children will be exiled from the village. Offer worries that she might find herself among their number. Oh, this is kind of a moot point, isn't it? It might not be. I took care of the leadership, but maybe things haven't changed. Yeah, I did take care of the leader. Yeah, she won't. But either way, she doesn't want. Even if she doesn't get exiled, I can still save her child potentially. We're looking for Ranga, a midwife who might be able to stop the whole Hollowborn thing from happening, which is neither of these people. 2 villagers stand by one of the tide pools. They are breathing harshly, clearly winded, and look up nervously as you approach.
How do you do?
If you're here to fish, as we were, stranger, you'll want to avoid the compass proper. The dwarven woman points to the southeast. Her companion shakes his head. A lot of ships wind up spread across the rocks here, so we didn't think much of the wreckage until we heard something. A terrible noise. I thought maybe it was a survivor, but he wasn't alive. Moving, but not truly alive. She shudders. It was awful. What are you two doing out here? Fishing, of course. Except I lost my fishing rod when I flung it at the head of those monsters, he sighs. We went looking for the tide pools over and thought we'd try our luck down by the rocks. Got the fright of our lives. We'll have to make do with the nets here, or go hungry. You said there are a lot of shipwrecks here? The woman nods. All the time. It's a lovely place, but dangerous as anything to sail. Good fishing, most days, she wipes her brow. I think we'll look further up the coast next time. What do you mean? What did you see? Corpses. Walking corpses. We don't want any part of it, whatever the cause. Might be we can find something in these tide pools, and then we're headed straight home. Farewell. Good tidings to... Wait, do you hear that? Oh my god, immediate fight. Oh shit. Wait, is that just a... It's just a Zalrip. Okay. No, don't hurt them. Barely injured. Tilly, no. Gods, what a mess. Thank you for your help, stranger. That's a whole lot of whatever. Bloop. Yay, they're okay. They're fine. I was worried for a second there. Yep, they're peacing out. As they probably should. This place is violent, it would seem. Crabs and small fish cluster in this pool left behind by the tide. Okay, so this top corner is actually the border of the map. Let's get in formation, y'all. There we go. It'd be nice if the formation, like, smart adjusted on the fly to get the right person in front. But they don't. Hang on a second, what happened to you? God, there's so many effects on him at once that I didn't even realize that this was the buff area at first. I thought it was just more stats. One of these should be a bad thing, right? Oh, the lion is extra enemies engaged. Nice shield, all the other stuff. Pilgrim's Last. None of these look like bad things. Where's the bad things? Good. Good, 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 good. Oh, that's just him queuing up his current action. Which one is that? That's Into the Fray. I'm not used to seeing that. Yeah. Yep, that's his new trick that he pulls. And I guess, yeah, he just doesn't have full health because I haven't rested again since the last time he was in a fight. I saw a red thing on him and I just thought that he had taken some kind of status effect that was lowering his maximum health. I was expecting to find something, and then I did not.
All right then.
I don't know what it was, but the loading screen for this place made me think of Mist. Ah, another page from Fulvano's Travels. Where'd it go? I thought I gave it to you. How am I so bad at the inventory in this game? I keep doing it wrong. How did you get it? I thought I gave it to him. Am I blind? I don't know what I did where I managed to screw that up. Page from Fulvano's Travels. After several days' journey, it seems it is time to at last part ways with my traveling companion from New Haelmar. A pity we could not see the compass together, but perhaps he will have as grand a time in Jurian's grasp. I have given him my gloves for safekeeping, for I hardly need them in such fine weather. Yep, I've already found those, so that guy died. Huh? I gotta track down this entire tragically dead group so I can steal their stuff. That appears to be... Are those heads? Yes, but they have horns and stuff, so they might be... They might be either Zaunips or deer or something. It's hard to tell from here. Ponamu Bird Scorned. Kind of you to stop and speak, my western friend. An Amawa stands before you. His hair matted and once bright clothes in ruins. Equally ruined is his face. A hatching of thin scars crossed by broader wounds. I haven't seen another kith since my ship went down. I do not suppose you are looking to lighten your purse. Who are you? I'm called Ponamu Birdscorned, chronicler of the Hawana people. Strange, I know, but we do not choose our names, do we? He chuckles, running a hand across his scarred visage. You were shipwrecked? Aye. We were transporting goods from the Deadfire to Defiance Bay when a storm took us off course and ran us aground here. Only I survived. He frowns for a moment, but then shakes his head, clearing the expression. You should consider sailing the island to the Deadfire, friend. No more beautiful a realm exists in the whole of the world. What are you selling? The ship's cargo, goods from the Deadfire, a few personal trinkets. All of the highest quality. I wouldn't sell them, but without coin, how am I to return to my homeland? Let me see your wares. Of course. So there is a Deadfire DLC for this game that's free and is trying to set up the Deadfire to some extent. And as a result, I will have no idea which stuff was from the vanilla game and which stuff is from that DLC. I'll never be able to tell. They sell a bunch of pirate items here. Binds with. Bind this item to unlock the next level. Huh. Isn't that every class? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 12 classes. That's... No, 11 classes? Whatever. That's all the classes, right? Seems like a lot. Nice little bonus there. I don't know what binding does. 3 uses of firebrand per rest. Does it make me have a fire weapon or something? Oops. There, I have to left click on that. Right click on this, but left click on that. Otherwise you get all mixed up. Someone's weapon, the firebrand. Two-handed fire weapon. Huh. Some uniforms and equipment from pirates and all that. That's just a fine saber. Oops. The War Club of the Mataru. %, chance to hobble on hit or critical hit. Well, cast hobble. May or may not actually apply. Because, yeah, it applies as being a spell type. That's interesting. Much smaller list of people available. Barbarian, fighter, monk, priest, paladin, rogue. The saber of the seas. It's all glowy looking. 10% chance to cast overwhelming wave. Yeah, thanks for coming by, motorcycle. Man, I love motorcycles. Okay. Once per encounter. Well, it does say 10% chance to cast. Does that overrun the once per encounter that it normally has? Damage and stun. That's not bad to have added to your weapon. And then you could just continuously... It's already fine, but you could continuously buff it to be better. Either way, if I want any of this stuff, I'm coming back later, because it's really expensive. One-eyed Molina's gold-fingered spike flinger. There's a name. Chanter, Cypher, Druid, Ranger, Wizard. High pierce damage. 15% chance to cast prone on hit, or critical hit. Could be a fun weapon to give to my archer. Or my ranger. Or my chanter, for that matter. The other one, not me. Bunch of damage and then a cool chance to just knock people on their ass. Fulvano's blunderbuss. You have the gun of the guy who I'm cosplaying. Huh. It's very slow, but still doesn't do that much damage, huh? It's exceptional. So 30% bonus damage, 4 DR bypass, 5% chance to cast charm? Who is Fulvano? It's a gun that can charm people. It's just... you shot me. I love you. But not very high damage. DR bypass, high accuracy, meaning higher crit chance, and the charm are all interesting additions for sure. I should look into whether or not I can sell stuff to him. Well, he doesn't have money to sell, does he? Sell value, high to low. Does he even have stuff to trade? Value 5 CP. Yeah, I mean, he sells them to me at value, I suppose. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. These have absolutely no value, don't they? Because they're like a plot item. You never know. Maybe it'll come up again in the future. Probably not. Why aren't they there? Huh. These have value of 40 CP. Yeah, and they're going up by that much. Yeah, the special items. I'll be a little more hesitant to go straight to spending those ones. Gotta catch them all, right? Gotta keep a unique copy of every item. Helm and acorn helm, as if those are different apparently. I guess there's just ones that are incorrectly just called a helm, where other ones actually have the correct full name for that particular kind of item. Gotta be careful. I don't really want to sell off gems because they might be used for enchanting, I think. And they got me some money. Still can't afford any of the actually cool items, so we'll look into that in the future. Could also trade off. You got hides. I'm afraid to sell anything besides generic gear that I have dupes of because I can't really keep track very well of what items are enchanting. And it would suck to run out of them or something, or use them up on accident. Ranga and Tana. Isn't Ranga the person I'm looking for? Yes. So we don't have to deal with the undead situation. If we don't want to. Fish and clumps of seaweed, bright green with heat, royal in the stew. It tastes pleasantly salty. We tasted the stew? We just came right in and just had a taste of their food? Tana. Tana grins toothily. You find yourself facing a towering Almawa woman. Her skin is the warm gold brown of a dying sunset, with pale fish-white patches at throat and hands. Wavy, red-brown hair, pulled into tight braids around a stripe of bare skin that follows the curve of her skull, flows down over her broad shoulders.
Welcome.
She regards you calmly, evidently unsurprised to find you here at the edge of her camp by the water. Have you come for medicines and craft works, or to share the fire? She gestures to the large cauldron nearby. Alfra sent me here. She says that you know some way to ensure that her child is not a hollowborn. Ah, more of Lord Roderick's frightened flock. She nods slowly. You are kind to come all this way. Poor Alfra must be beside herself. I imagine she gave you something for payment. Whatever it is, you keep it. I don't need coin. I need you to do something for me instead. Ranga points inland. There is a Zalrup tribe to the northeast, led by one of their priests. Tana was exiled from there some time ago, and their scouts still lurk about this place, waiting for an opportunity to end his life. The Zalrup lets out a rattling squawk, head drooping. One day, I will have to go for supplies, and I will come back to find my assistant slain. How will I help anyone then? She shakes her head. You rid me of this nuisance, and I will do what I can for Alpha. And throw in something for you, too. Alright. I'll be back when it's done. Good, good. You'll find them easily enough, I think, she smiles, baring sharp teeth. Good luck. The party gains 500 experience. Who doesn't like experience? Slow experience. It's split 6 ways, and we take 15,000 each to level up. The moment I filled out my roster, the experience dried up hard. Which is perhaps for the best, because it takes the better part of an episode for me to level up my party. So, having them be spaced out is for everyone's mercy, I believe. Wow, you really are right by the Zalrup. Like, right by them. I think I somewhat questioned the sanity of that.
Yes?
For your mental well-being. Loot the items, damn it.
Of course.
Cave coral? That wasn't in a cave. That was cave adjacent at best. How does a cave like that generate? It sticks so high up into the air. Sporling. A dank spore. Alright. Let's dank it up. We don't know how dangerous these are because it's a whole new encounter. But it's probably bad. In fact, we probably want them to... yeah, attack us over here away from the dank spore. I feel like the dank spore might know things. Okay, you fight that guy. Or maybe that guy, he's already engaged in you. And you fight that guy because he's engaged in you. And entire crowd target the badly injured one. My poor prone protagonist.
That's not very good.
Aethel's weapons ineffective, then cast cool things on them. There you go. There we go. Don't worry, Edar. Your weapon being ineffective is not exactly a tragedy. Because the group's doing just fine. Quickly before we accidentally expire. I think it still counts as being in combat right now, but just...
Very distracting.
Oh no, he didn't cast him. Damn it. I was hoping it would still count as being in combat so that everyone could cast their stuff. Durance, careful. How's this going? Oh, it's not very strong. Might be dangerous when it dies. Oh god. I don't trust it. Dank spores. It does not seem to have violently exploded with spores on me, so... Moss and mold cover the bones like a blanket. They smell earthy and wet. Another dead adventurer. And a relatively generic bow.
Keeping quiet.
Another war bow. Well, that went smoothly. Just kind of a little surprise combat dungeon. Probably a reuse of the same cave where we fought the bear at the beginning of the game. It seemed like it was the same layout. It's probably the same everything. Ah, not a huge zone either. It should be very easy to find the Zalrip. The rest of them. But that's apparently separate from the undead problem, unless it's the priest that's summoning them. Hello. Well, I have questions. Hey, do you have can you answer my questions? Oh. Dang it. He's a dead boy. Very dead. Ooh. Ooh. This time I did actually loot it correctly. Into the right inventory. A page from Fulvano's travels. I met a helpful Deerwood woman while in Gilded Vale. She was an invaluable guide during my time in that sorry village, and agreed to accompany me some part of the way towards Anslög's compass. We parted ways in the wilds known as Magran's Fork, but I gave her my amulet so that she might remember me fondly. Perhaps I will return to these lands someday after all. Oh. Oh. Nothing turned out well for any of these people. Okay, this place is dense with Fulvano items, apparently. Fulvano's letter. How is it that so grand a journey as mine should lead me here? The people of the Deerwood call this pitiable lagoon a sight to see, but all I have experienced here is misfortune. I have thought to explore the cavern by the waters, only to discover it was home to sporlings. I went to see the vaunted compass and lost the bulk of my letters when I tripped over some driftwood. And at last, I'm made to inspect the dragon skulls nearby, only to be menaced by some foolish little Zalrips. I will return to Gilded Vale as soon as I catch my breath. At least Zalrips do not appear to have followed. Oh, and then he was a dead boy. The end. Very dead. Fine crossbow. Unique. Fine versus accuracy 2. I don't know. A little hard to say. Yeah, all of these went back into your inventory instead of back where they came from, which is weird. Yep, that appears to be Fulvano's corpse. An explorer. Whose color was purple? See? Just like me. We got this steez down. Oh. A ghoul? Immune to charmed, confused, disease, dominated, poison, sickened, and unconscious. That's a lot of immunities. Are you immune to bullets? I don't think he's immune to bullets. Wow. The entire party teaming up on one guy, it's just kind of sad to watch. It's cruel. They just explode. Yep. These kinds of things, they tend to resolve themselves.
Hello? Hello?
Requires 2 lore. Prayer against fear. Bit of an edge case, isn't it? You need a situation where you specifically need to be knowledgeable about the incoming fear that you must pray for to stop it from being bad. At the center of a ring of jagged stone, this boulder casts long shadows across the sand as the sun moves overhead.
Let's go.
Kill him to death. Kill him to dead. Now. Get him. Oh. And then he got knocked on his ass and exploded into little giblets. Giblets or giblets? Nobody, I'm not sure how to pronounce these words. How is there more? All of them in the same place. A page from Fulvano's travels. While traveling west towards Gilded Vale, I encountered a fellow traveler of some considerable intelligence, and we engaged in pleasant conversation. It came to light that the poor fellow had the most execrable pair of boots upon him. I gave him one of my spare sets, so that he might better appreciate Valian craftsmanship. May they serve him well, for he said he intended to cross the wilderness known as the Black Meadow. I cannot imagine it is a pleasant place. And then there's Fulvano's boots. Okay, I can put these all away. They indicate where 3 Fulvano items are, which I've already found, and then one of them is just indicative of how he died. Not a good time for him. Okay, this is for an area we've finished with too. That's also an area we've finished. Only found in the gift after dark. The gift after dark. Ondra's gift. Yeah, we're still waiting for that one. That's for if we want to find the smuggler, we know their password. So that's not one to be filed away yet. If I take it out of my inventory, I will never find it again, because it'll be lost amongst the countless lore items that I've already processed. Hello, crowd. There we go. Oh god. Oh god, he has tier 3 spells. What do I do? What do I do? There's so many spells. Circle of Protection. Friendly AoE plus 15 double defenses. Got a range. Okay, so he casts it like that. Gotcha. Despondent Blows. Minus 15 melee accuracy to all the foes in an area. 15% of crits are converted to hits. Ooh. That's cool. Dire Blessing. 20% of hits are converted to crits for your allies. That's a scary one. God damn. Pretty big area too. That's a powerful spell. Pillar of Faith. Ooh. Calls down a pillar of divine judgment, inflicting crush damage and knockdown on all enemies in the area of effect. Damn. It also does a lot of damage. Makes them prone for 12 seconds, in addition to doing a buttload of damage. Prayer against restraint. Immunity to hobbled and struck. Restore moderate endurance. Area of effect. Still only 30 endurance. Endurance is not the best at recovering endurance with his spells. It is an AoE, which is nice, but like if you're trying to keep your tank up, being able to heal 30 with a level 3 spell is like devastatingly weak by D&D standards, at least. I clicked on the same thing. The Warding Seal. The hazard that does shock damage. Generates a magical seal that explodes in a burst of electrical energy when an enemy comes into contact with it, inflicting shock damage. Oh, it's a 10-minute shock mine. That is interesting. That's a good thing to plop in the doorway of bad news. Oops. Watchful Presence. Blesses allies with the aid of a sympathetic soul, releasing a healing effect when their endurance is low. It's an area of effect you cast at range. I take this to mean that it adds a buff to them that sticks on them, and then the moment their endurance drops below 20%, they gain 40 endurance. That seems stronger than the one that just heals them outright, is the one that heals them when they need it, and it heals more. I'm curious what the upside is of healing them for less. 1.9 radius. It also has a bigger spell effect. It's so much bigger. Holy crap. What am I missing here? So it's a huge spell. Like its area of effect is larger than the range for casting it. Yeah. I might have to do some reading about how this actually works, because maybe it's not explained well or something, but it sounds like it just gives them a buff that's going to give them a giant heal the moment their health drops down, and it applies to the entire party over a huge range as opposed to the other one, which isn't a huge range at all. Anyway, they're very dead already, so I'm just going to let this one play out. I saw a lot of enemies, so I thought maybe I'd have to cast something, but that doesn't seem altogether necessary. Zarups just aren't very dangerous so far. These are all generics. A Zarup quarterstaff. That's new.
Right.
Clam shells and crab carapaces litter the coals. Another one. Enjoy. Golden celery.
And what does the flame reveal?
Not much. It's just kind of hanging out. Being a fire. Like fires do. You know, the dial. Oh, it's a sundial, basically. That's probably where the nickname comes from. Hustle, hustle. Oopsie. Accidentally. I tried to use WASD to move the camera again. The entire map should be cleared. We should be good to go.
Hail and well met.
Is it done? Am I rid of the interminable squawking of the Zarups? Screech? No, Tana, I do not mind yours. They're all dead. Good. I have tired of their feeble attempts to surprise us. Here. She hands you 3 files for your trouble. And now we can get underway with my part of the bargain. Minor potion of minor regeneration, minor recovery, minor endurance. I will get started on the mixture, but I need one more ingredient. Some spores from the creatures in that cave, there. She points just north of her little stretch of beach. Sporelings, they call them. It is a useful material. I need one for the mixture. You are welcome to any others you find. I have the spores here. So you do. Excellent. Give one here, and I'll add it to the cauldron. This should not take long. The mixture is ready. Take this to Afra. Tell her to drink it before bed, as it induces sleep. She should find herself more energetic in the mornings. Tell her to eat more fish and cheese. The potion will sustain a healthy appetite. Grant her strength. She's a rather frail woman from what I remember of her. Wait, I thought this was a cure. I can tend to ailments of the body. I cannot cure an affliction of the soul. Certainly not one inflicted by the gods. Ranga crossed her arms. I have explained many times. People will believe what they want. So let her believe. Perhaps that will help. Faith is a powerful thing. In the meantime, she will feel much improved, and if her child should not be claimed by the legacy, then it will be born healthy. That I will promise. Fine. I'll be going then. It doesn't seem accurate to accuse her of being a charlatan if she keeps saying that she's repeatedly explained that she can't do anything about this. It seems that people are believing in her ability to fix this problem because they need to feel like there's a solution. I have done what I can, as promised. Tell Alfra I wish her well. Party gained 500 experience. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Finding out that all this leads to nothing as far as an actual fix goes. She sells things. Oh. Those are what she sells. Okay. That they are. We've already duped up a bunch. Oh my god. They have a value of 5. Yeah. Boop 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 boop. I would like to turn these into let's just go ahead and turn these into some usable camping supplies or something, please. Wasn't there less here last time I looked at this inventory? Like, I thought I already sold these. I must have looked at a different sub-menu or something, or scrolled down on accident. I don't need no regular great swords. I have 2 fine great swords. Them some fine-ass great swords. In fact, I might sell one of them because I have 2. And that's where the value comes in, is stuff that's enchanted. Oof. That's where you get the value. I don't need regular weapons. I've got enchanted weapons. But too many, to some extent. Yeah, I have fine variants of a lot of them, actually. So if I do happen to want to give somebody that kind of weapon, I'm not going to give them the shitty one. Neat. Well, I guess I'll buy some camping oh, you only have 1. Boop. And this is how you make the monies. And marginal experience gains. There we go. We found the place successfully. Accomplished some things. Made marginal amounts of money, but not enough, probably. Yeah. I think I'm going to need some pretty big gains to accomplish what I was hoping to do back there. Where is the exit? What have you done with the exit? Maybe I imagined the exit? I thought there was one there. Oh well. And so we return to Gilded Vale. These poor people are going on these giant, horribly long walks. It's a bummer. But generally speaking, Ranga's probably right. I don't know. Maybe it is best to just let her believe. Since nobody apparently knows what to do with it, maybe it is best to just let her believe that she's already cured for the sake of letting her not constantly worry and maybe even have a miscarriage as a result of her fears. It'll be tragic, and she'll feel betrayed if it does go wrong, though. And lying to her is kind of endorsing this, like, alternative medicine approach that's kind of a bummer. Where you essentially just use fake medicine to make people feel better, and then they die anyway.
Greetings.
You were some time away. I worried you wouldn't return. Is that it? Have you brought it? He looks at you hopefully. What did Ranga say? Yes, I have it. Here it is. You really did it. Oh, bless you. Bless you. I don't know what I would have done without you. Now my baby will be safe. Alfred beams at you. I can't thank you enough. Glad to be of assistance. Here, take this. You can keep what remains of Ranga's payment, too. Thank you again. I'll take this before I settle into bed. Perhaps I'll finally rest easy. I hope we explained everything we said we were gonna explain about, like, the fish and everything. If nothing else, I've done other things that are good for her, which is that I overthrew the local leadership and replaced it with something that probably won't throw her out the same way. I've gained major reputation with Gilded Vale. I should visit this situation. Yeah, a bad visitor. Huh. That's a lot of reputations I have. 1 point of benevolent, clever, stoic, aggressive, diplomatic, passionate, and honest. Huh. I have an overwhelmingly good champion reputation in Gilded Vale. They're very big fans of me, and I've never met another faction in the entire game that I can have a reputation with. Go figure. How about we go on the road now? I think we've more or less wrapped things up around here. So we'll head back to Cadnua, and I'll rest in my newly constructed resting area for the first time. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take an entire day to get there. One of the many things to not envy about fantasy settings is their long travel times to everywhere.
I feel sorry for whoever has to clean up this place.
Oh, you mean us? Ah, the irony. It is the palpables. So this is all the area I'm trying to clean up. Like, one of those upgrades must be like, make an actual garden, you loser, instead of this shit. There's the hedge maze we're working on, apparently, which I guess increases my security or something. Which is hilarious. Just go through the hedges. They're hedges. Not complicated. And this is the repaired version. The new shelves smell rich with freshly cut timber. I got new shelves. But this place still looks like shit. I think I've seen these descriptions before. It must be upstairs that's nicer, right? Oh, this is nice. It's just a disaster downstairs, apparently. This gives a plausible explanation for where all of my people might be staying. The chest where I can store things. Yeah. So now as I gain party members, this gives me a pretty good idea of where they might be staying. The thick woven wool feels soft and warm. Isn't this place homey? And there's a nice little portal here to disaster on the first floor, which still looks like an atrocity. So I need to do those upgrades. It's very modular, these areas. These are all temporary. Or not temporary, these are all stashes. The wilderness of the Deerwood rambles on beyond the house. None of these are like lootable or anything. It's just where I can put something. But it's good to make them not blue anymore. There we go, let's actually rest. No bonus, but it is free. That's noticeable. Yeah, that loading screen does look like it's probably this building. The sleep screen. Now we're all rested up, and I didn't have to spend anything. Except for all the money I spent making the upgrade, of course. But you know, it's the bottom of the tree. So it's kind of a take for granted you have to do this for the other stuff anyway. Hopefully everything else turns out to be worth the effort.
It's very nice. We're not sleeping here, are we?
We just did that, Aloth. We just finished sleeping here. And now we're going to meet our not very nice visitor. The character that's specifically referred to as a bad visitor, which we'll see what that means. Nairi the Deft Hand. Name's Nairi. Begging your pardon and all, my lord, but I was hoping we could talk. Very well, let's hear it. You call your allies together and motion for the petitioner to step forward. So, might be I got myself nicked here and there for a few unsavory deeds. My name's on posters all over Defiance Bay, now. Makes it hard to walk about freely, if you get me. My thinking is, it's time for me to seek out new horizons. Deadfire Archipelago seems nice. Then I'm out of everyone's hair, only I could use some help getting there. Deadfire comes up like crazy often in this game so far. Not that I'm asking you to do this for free, mind. I picked up a couple things here from a fellow I know. Not much good to me if I'm caught. You should turn yourself in. You can't be serious, they'll hang me. I'll see they give you a lenient sentence. It's better than living as an outlaw. What, so I just offer myself up hope they take mercy. Never mind that I'm not so keen on a stint behind bars. You're just gonna have to trust me. Not a chance. You're a clever one, you are, but you're not talking me into offering my own neck up to the hangman. Nafer turns on her heels, loping briskly from the hall. Yeah, no, get out. In particular, my guy is from Deadfire, so it'd be me exporting criminals into my home. I'm not really in a hurry to actively be like, oh yeah, you're a self-professed criminal who didn't even, I don't think he even necessarily had any indication that, or she had any indication she was going to quit either. So I'm like, excuse me, no? Oh right, I was going to try the dungeons. I need to find out how to get to. I think it's just that one invisible, not invisible. I think it was that one force field that was blocking my path earlier. That's probably how I get there. Did we already finish? That's just saying that they left the stronghold. Dungeon construction has started. And I believe is still in progress. Finished in 1 hour, wow. Any moment now.
It is good to see you here. I can feel a change in the air already. There is much to do. Is there anything I can do to help?
What is the state of the keep? Ah, where to begin? Let's see here. It just brings me to that. Okay. So that, I guess there's not a lot of reason to talk to her. But this is a good time to close off with one of these this year's stories. These books. I've also got to get these things out of my inventory eventually. Aedelwan Hadret. Aedelwan Hadret is a retrospect led... Aedelwan Hadret, in retrospect, led a remarkable life, but his contributions would probably have gone largely unnoticed if it weren't for his conflict with a Glanfathan Orlin by the name of Galvin Regd. Though Aedelwan became a great man and well-respected leader, his early life was uneventful. He was born in Nadir of noble parents and spent a good part of his childhood there. While he was raised apart from the common folk, he felt a connection to them and was known to always be welcoming to any and all. In school, he demonstrated incredible intelligence, frequently arriving at correct conclusions using his own methods of getting there. He was always doing unexpected things, and though he seemed to be paying attention and would pass his lessons, his teachers and trainers were certain he would never amount to anything. His family moved to the Deerwood as colonists while he was still a teen. The moment they docked in the new land, Aedelwan knew he had found his true home. He explored the land, getting to know it and its people, as well as he knew the castle in which he lived. He grew into a man who was well respected by all who met him. He took over the earldom, becoming a fair and much beloved leader. Under his leadership, Bellreach thrived, becoming more stable and prosperous than anyone thought possible. When a new gref was needed, the people's voice was unanimous: Aedelwan Hadret. As his first act as the new gref, the Feyrkonig instructs Aedelwan to build a new city for him. A seat of power in the Pearlwood Gulf. The city is to be called New Dunrid, and will serve as the capital for the new colonies. Not long after he assumed power, the Broken Stone War began. It was a quick and brutal war and taxed the limits of Aedelwan's capabilities. He had never before encountered someone as organized and brutal as the opposition commander, Galvin Regd. At first, Regd's tactics confounded Aedelwan, but Aedelwan, who grew up developing unorthodox ways to take care of his problems, adapted quickly. This did not stop Galvinregt outright, however. He began a campaign of terror that lasted for 2 more years. Aedelwan, who expressed a sort of respect for Regt's prowess, studied his techniques. I'm tripping over the 500 difficult to pronounce names so much. Learning how Regt attacked and devising a ways to counter it. He gave the earls and thanes instructions that confounded and sometimes infuriated them, as they seemed to leave their lands open for attack and put their people at risk. Aedelwan disseminated lies and half-truths about his plans, imperial events, and military maneuvers. No one knew what truly was going on except for Aedelwan and a very small contingent of trusted friends and advisors. His tactics worked, and Aedelwan's men started to catch the Glenfathans off guard. It wasn't long before Aedelwan's men were able to anticipate Regt's moves and cut him off at every front. When asked about how he was able to overcome the enemy that anticipated every move, Aedelwan responded, that is how he was about to outwit us. Our moves were transparent. Anyone could see through the standard tactic. Spread something out thin enough, and you can poke a hole in it. I countered an unpredictable enemy with unpredictability. Because Aedelwan was able to counter Regt's plans, the conflict eventually died off. Regt sent a message to Aedelwan, expressing respect for his tactics and prowess with military maneuvers. This political and military stalemate led to the first treaties signed between the Glenfathans and Aederan colonists who would eventually become the Deerwoodans. That always feels weird when they're all like, yo, I respect you, enemy leader. And it's like, but that's nice and all, but people are literally dying in this conflict. So like something about like them being all like having respect for each other and being like, oh yeah, what a cool dude. It always feels a little weird in that context when I'm like so many commoners were forced to fight in that war, in every war. And so it's like if
must gather your party before
if this is amusing to you, then maybe we don't all fully appreciate the gravity of the situation. I also do think some of the cool shit, like Zhuge Liang and Sima Yi going at each other, and like, in particular, Sima Yi being tricked into thinking Zhuge Liang was still alive, because he died, and it became known that he was dead, but the kind of crazy tactics and tricks that were used after his death, I think it was a combination of notes he left and his actual apprentice that was still alive or something, led to a situation where like, they actually thought that the death was a fake out and that Zhuge Liang was still alive, which is just kind of a fun, ridiculous idea. The Battle of the Wuzhang Plains. I've played too much Dynasty Warriors.
Here we are. To think we are so close. Beneath our very feet lie the endless paths built by Ard Nua, the great Angwithan king. Well, up here, this is all Aederan, of course, but should we descend far enough, we will find some real history. To uncover that great king's tomb would be a dream, but it is one of his servants I am after, Gabranos, a powerful mage and a dedicated scholar, a keeper of lore, just as I mean to be. He was in possession of the Tanvi Orator, or whatever form of it preceded the one we know. I've seen it in ruins, alongside Gabranos' name, scraps of the same symbols and verses we know in Rauatai. He must have held the words in high regard, or perhaps he was even the author.
You sound very impressed by this, Gabranos. They say he held power over the elements, kinda coughs. But I'm more interested in his writing. He was a prolific author. I haven't been able to translate everything, but I have seen enough to know that he traveled far and wide. If only we could have met him. What wisdom he could share. But we can follow his example and strive to learn from those around us, improve upon it. You haven't actually read his writing? Well, not entirely. How could I? It's a dead language, and hardly anyone has translated even a small fraction of it. But what little I can, I have translated. By comparing the symbols in his work to what others have found, I pieced together a phrase from the Tanvi Oratoa. Clear as day. I even gave it to the keeper to check, but she was convinced I'd written it myself. Why does this book matter so much? Rawatai faces troubled times. Once, we were a unified people, but that's changing, and the Tanvi Oratoa is at the heart of that. There are those who say that we haven't held to its instruction, that we've allowed ourselves to grow weak and polluted our traditions by welcoming foreigners rather than laying claim to the lands around us. That we must hold on to those traditions if we are to make of ourselves a nation to be feared. My brothers would have it so, but we don't need to isolate ourselves to make Rawatai great. I know there's more to the chant. It wasn't created out of sand and water 1,000 years ago, but brought to Rawatai by the Angwithans, a people that knew the value of alliances and shared their knowledge with us. And with that knowledge, we made Rawatai what it is today. If I can find the original, I can prove it. They'll know that the chant is far older than we believed, that the Angwithans favored peace and the trade of knowledge. If we follow in their footsteps, we can make a kingdom just as grand and lasting as theirs. How is one old book going to change the minds of everyone in Rawatai? It's hardly any old text, but I see your point. Kind of looks down at his hands, rubbing the webbing between his fingers and his thumb. It might not convince everyone, but at least it will lend weight to the call for peace. Are you always this excitable? We're on the verge of a great discovery. I wonder at your restraint. Let's start looking then.
If my sources are correct, Gabranos will have brought the text with him. It will probably be within a library, or a tomb perhaps. It tends to be one of the two. Let's be off.
Damn, anything can give you experience, like walking through a doorway. I'm always just expecting it more from the ending, I suppose. Alright, I have no idea what's down there. I've never gone there before.